All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about one of the biggest, boldest moves we've seen in crypto. A plan that could finally, really, build that bridge between digital assets and, well, the heart of traditional banking itself.
You heard that right. We're talking about Ripple, one of the biggest names in crypto, and they're making a huge play. They don't want to be the outsider anymore. They want to become an officially recognized U.S. bank.
So that's the big question, isn't it? Can a company born and bred in crypto really cross that line? Can they become a full-on regulated bank? Let's dig in and see exactly what their game plan is.
Okay, so to really get our heads around this, we're going to stick to the facts, the official, confirmed steps Ripple is taking. This is a big deal, something we haven't really seen before, and it's all driven by this one really powerful idea. They want to play by the exact same rules as Wall Street's biggest players.
So when did this all kick off? Well, according to CoinDesk, the starting gun really fired back in July of 2025. That's the key date. That's when Ripple officially filed their paperwork with U.S. regulators. And just like that, they started their long, complicated journey through what you could call the regulatory labyrinth.
So what's the actual plan? What are they asking for? It's a pretty clear two-part strategy to get inside the U.S. financial system.
And their plan is actually surprisingly direct. It all boils down to two critical things. Step 1, get a federal fiduciary license. Step 2, use that license to get the ultimate prize, a Fed master account. Now, both of these are massive undertakings, so let's break them down one by one. Okay, first up, the federal fiduciary license. This is, without a doubt, the most important piece of the puzzle. You can think of it like the ultimate seal of approval. It's the master key that unlocks the whole system. Getting this would completely change the game, turning Ripple into a fully trusted player on the inside.
So what does this master key actually unlock? Well, three huge things. First, they'd be operating directly under the watchful eye of the Federal Reserve. Second, they could issue their own regulated stablecoins. And third, they could offer custody services, holding assets, for huge institutions. These are the absolute pillars of traditional banking.
But wait, getting that license, that's just step 1. The real end goal, the holy grail of this whole plan, is getting a Fed master account. Think of this like the ultimate VIP pass. It gives Ripple direct access to the U.S. central bank. It doesn't get much more legitimate than that. Now, you might be thinking this is all about the U.S., but not even close. This is just one piece of a much bigger, perfectly coordinated global strategy. They're playing the long game, aiming for legitimacy all over the world. And they're making moves everywhere. It's like they're weaving this global web of regulatory approvals. They're getting key licenses in places like Dubai. They're targeting the EU's huge new MiCA regulation. They're even partnering up to build out the infrastructure for regulated stablecoins. The goal is simple. Create a system that's seen as legitimate no matter where you are on the map.
Okay, so this all sounds pretty amazing, right? But as you can probably guess, it's not going to be a walk in the park. Not at all. There is some serious opposition and some very, very real risks here.
And this is where we get to the heart of the disagreement. The biggest pushback, it's coming from the traditional banks. They're looking at this and saying, hold on a second. They argue that Ripple isn't trying to play by the rules. They're trying to use a loophole to get all the perks of being a bank without shouldering all the heavy responsibilities. And listen, this isn't just chatter. We're talking about powerful lobbying groups like the ICBA. That's the Independent Community Bankers of America. They formally, officially opposed Ripple's application, and they're using that exact argument. The pushback is organized, it's funded, and it is very, very real.
So this is where we need to take a step back and have a little reality check. It is so important to separate the ambition from the facts on the ground. Let me be perfectly clear about this. Ripple is not a bank. Not yet. There is absolutely no guarantee this will work, and maybe most importantly, there's no official timeline for when a decision might even be made.
Okay, so all of this, it all leads to the million-dollar question. I'm sure it's the one many of you are thinking about right now. What in the world does all this mean for the token itself, for XRP?
Right now, XRP is at a massive crossroads, and its entire future really hinges on this one decision from regulators. I mean, think about the two paths. If they get approved, it could open the floodgates. We're talking enormous institutional demand, a whole new era of trust and legitimacy. But if they're rejected, well, that would cast a long shadow of uncertainty and doubt over everything.
Look, if Ripple somehow pulls this off, if they become a fully regulated entity,
It could just demolish the walls of distrust that have been there for years. This would fundamentally change how big money, how institutional investors look at and value XRP. For the token, for anyone holding it, the stakes just could not be higher.
And so that's where we are. We're left with that massive question still hanging in the air. Can a crypto giant like Ripple actually build the final, definitive bridge to traditional finance? The entire crypto world is watching. The game is on.